Happy Mother's Day 2023. You might not see this. Well, maybe I'll post it today. What the heck? So we're on our Mother's Day hike. Got some moms over there. Got some product of moms over there. Got some puppies over there. And we are on top of the Berkeley Mountains. We're sort of on the northern extreme where they die out down to the bay. And if the base of eucalyptus trees were out there, you'd see them. And I'll give you some reference of what we're looking at here. You can see the very top of Coit Tower very far off in the distance, high above the fog, which we are going to talk about. I guess it's right there next to that little fog bump to the left of it. And the opening of the Golden Gate is over there. You can see the Bay Bridge emerging from the fog. And yeah, and then rolling around. Those are the San Mateo Mountains over there. Oakland is right down there. The big structures, you see those big white structures? Those are cranes to unload ships. Those were the inspiration for those big, giant, crazy, mechanical giraffes that were featured in Star Wars. The guy that did Star Wars, he lives right over there where Mount Tam is about to disappear, behind that little cloud. And there's a place called Lucas Valley, and they have a place called Skywalker Ranch up there. George Lucas. They do lots of video stuff up there. I'm not sure what they do. It's kind of like Area 51. You really don't know what they do up there, but it's up there. And so you'll see the interesting thing here is the fog microclimate of the bay. Let's kind of keep giving you reference here. So on the east side of the Berkeley Hills, that's San Pablo Bay over there. And we have Napa that way. Sonoma's that way. My ranch in Winters is just over those hills over there. It's 55 miles from San Francisco. As an entirely different climate. We have the San Pablo Reservoir down below me here. And then off in the East Bay Hills out there is Martinez, Pittsburgh, Antioch, and Berkeley. And believe it or not, there's a mango tree growing, a big one, way out there, very far from the ocean. And it's because the delta comes through there and protects it from freezing. The fog intrusion, which is makes this area so complex in its climate. You can see in the low spot where the Golden Gate is, that fog comes all the way through, whereas the same marine layer gets hung up on the San Mateo Hills. The way the fog is created is it's warm water offshore and the air pushing onshore, because you have a it's hotter inland over there. The air is hot, so it's rising, so it's creating a suction effect. And that suction effect brings in this air. And offshore, it's cool. So cool to warm brings all that air. With that air comes the fog. The way the fog is formed is we have this cold water current off our coast because of the Coriolis effect. That's a whole other story. And it goes all the way down the coast. It's a band of cold water because it wants to go east, but it can't. The continent's in the way. So it hits the coast and is forced downward to Mexico. And because of that cold band of water, the air that moves from the warm water to the cold water condenses, makes the fog. And then here it does all kinds of interesting things for the climate. It creates a zone of redwood trees, native redwood trees. If you look down here, these are all native redwood trees. Those are all redwoods right there. And that occurs wherever there's fog. And this is it's not the most easterly spot, but it's pretty far east where these things grow naturally. And what's interesting, this range continues all the way south, but there's a certain point where the redwoods stop growing because those hills right there are stopping the fog. There's only so much fog intrusion that goes to the south. Most of it kind of bends to the north as it comes in and follows the the bay, San Pablo Bay up, and it rolls around and creates a fairly frost-free zone up here because this marine air is very mild. And then inland it gets hotter because it's further from the ocean, and you can see the fog doesn't quite make it there. It burns off before it gets there. You can see it burning off right in here right now. The fog can go all the way to Sacramento, all the way up to Sacramento. It's not doing that today, but if it was, we wouldn't be able to see anything because it'd be fogged in. But yeah, so it's one of the fun things about the Bay Area is it could be like 100 degrees over there. It could be 55 degrees over there. But this is really a big dividing point. Everyone now is leaving me. So let's cruise along and finish up the video. So normally in the Bay Area, the most frost-free areas are also the coolest because they're the closest to the ocean where the fog is. Sometimes that changes because of topography or location next to large bodies of water. There's a giant delta river that comes down through there, and that big body of water keeps it just warm enough, and some hills up there keep it just warm enough. The cold air is heavy, it rolls off the hills to support a tree that must have frost-free conditions but also must have heat. Places that are generally the most mild, have the most frost-free zones in the Bay Area, are also the most deprived of heat because they're so close to the ocean, and the ocean has a real moderating effect. But a special spot out there, and there's other spots around the bay, like Fremont's one of them. They're here at my ranch, and Winters is one of them. There's a lot of places where you get in these little magic spots where you actually have heat and very little frost. And that's the magic microclimates that you want to grow the subtropicals in, including mangoes. If you don't have that, then you want to grow something like a mango, you have to boost your zone by planting that tree or that subtropical, whatever it may be, in a real beneficial spot in your garden. The warmest, most frost-free spot. It might be next to a big south-facing wall or wherever. But that's it, and happy Mother's Day. And now we are in the thick of it. There it is, the San Francisco fog. Right there. Gray on one side, transitioning, dry, and blue on the other. What do you think about the San Francisco fog, Simone?
It's nice.
Is it nice?
Yeah.
Nice and refreshing. So right now it's probably like 95 degrees at the ranch, and it's just like, what, 65 here, nice and breezy?
Nice and cool.
Nice and cool. Look at that. This is right where the fog dies, at the top of the ridge. It's an interesting interface. It's fun to see, to be right at that point.